Hello everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
Yes, we did.
Oh, yes, we did. Artemis Fowl, out on Disney+. So, this movie was supposed to come out ages ago, and it got pushed back, and it got pushed back, and it got pushed back, and we were starting to get a little suspicious. There was a little suspicion there. Is this movie going to be bad? Could it possibly disappoint? Well, Sean, you saw it. What did you think?
Well, I didn't think it was very good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you?
Okay. Well, you know what? I didn't follow it super well, as you
It's
know,
very hard
from my
to follow.
constant pausing and rewinding and going, what?
Yeah.
So, if you are a fan of the books, I think there are several, just know you're not getting that here. This is it's based on, loosely based
Inspired.
on. Yes. So Artemis Fowl is in fact a little boy. A criminal mastermind, or at least comes from a criminal mastermind family. His dad, played by Colin Farrell, has mysteriously disappeared. And I think is then linked to a lot of art heists. Is that a thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
He is identified or outed as a supervillain, basically.
Wow, okay. But he's missing.
Yeah.
So, I want to say the butler, but he had a whole thing about don't call him the butler, but Mr. Butler.
His last name is Butler, and he is a butler, so...
Well, he took offense to that.
He did. That was
But,
a
I mean,
point.
is he kind of a guy in the house wearing a tuxedo? Yes.
Yes.
So I don't really know any other circumstances where that's the thing. But anyways, should we call him like the Alfred?
Sure. Yeah, it's a good description for him.
Yeah. So he has to break it to the kid. Guess what? You're evil geniuses. Let me take you down to the Batcave.
Yeah, literally that's what happens.
Yeah. I mean, there's no bats. Were there bats?
I don't think there were
We didn't
bats.
see the bats. This guy is better at chasing the bats out than Alfred. So yeah, he has to be like, well, now we have to save the world or find your dad or something, blah, blah, blah.
Find your dad.
And then it seems to just be like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Men in Black for kids, but where the aliens are now pixies?
Or fairies. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That is absolutely what this is.
Okay. So somehow, in the quest to find his dad, I mean, we get like a ransom call
Yeah.
fairly early on from
A mysterious figure.
an almost Star Warsy Emperor
Yeah, like a
Palpatine
hood,
kind of,
blacked out face,
Yeah.
weird voice, like almost like it's voice changing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't identify that person.
And Colin Farrell is like strung up behind him.
Yeah. Colin Farrell is really not in this movie much.
No, he's not.
For better or worse.
Yeah. So Josh Gad is playing a gravelly voiced giant
dwarf. Giant dwarf.
Yeah, he's a giant dwarf.
Or just a regular sized person.
Yes, but he would take offense to
Yeah,
that
you're
for sure.
right. It's true.
And he really is very insistent that he's quite small. But he's not. So he somehow is involved in this.
Yeah, as part of Artemis Fowl's plan, and also he is imprisoned by the fairies for tunneling and entering or something.
Right. Yeah, I never really... Cause doesn't he go to the Artemis Fowl house to like break...
Yeah, he does because
break their safe to get the thing?
Because there's a rule that you have to invite a fairy into your house, and Artemis Fowl knows that, so he says no fairies. But then they're like, well, fine, we'll just get this dwarf to secretly tunnel in.
Okay.
But Artemis Fowl was one step ahead somehow, and it's all part of his plan.
But then there's a pretty girl fairy.
Yeah, there is.
And then there's a pretty girl butler.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So anyways, the kid is wearing a suit and tie
And sunglasses.
His Ray-Bans.
And he has a laser gun.
Because if the fairy can see your eyes, something.
I didn't even catch that part, but
Yeah,
there was a reason for the sunglasses.
There was a reason. And Judi Dench is like the policewoman of the fairies.
Yeah, she's like the top cop. Absolutely. Yeah. And she's got also a very weird voice happening.
Yeah.
Like she is like 800 years old and she is smoked the entire time.
Yeah, I have no idea really what this was about. Definitely things were happening. There was like a force field of some kind around the house.
Yeah, so that's like stops time, but then sometimes it stops time inside the bubble and sometimes it stops time outside the bubble, just depending on what the fairies want, apparently.
And there's magic that may or may not work.
Yes, that's right.
Depending
on...
And
they can deactivate the magic.
Factors, yeah. And then, people may or may not get hurt and may or may not have magic help them or die.
Right, yeah, because they can die, but then the magic can help them not die. But not always.
But not always. Sometimes magic is off. Or that's just what they say.
That's what they say.
It's somebody they don't like.
Yeah, it's convenient.
Gosh, so yeah, I really did not get this. And I know in the books start off a lot more slowly and, Artemis is sort of a villain and he does not like the fairies. And in this, they just have to throw them right in.
Yeah, there's really no lead up. I mean, this movie is only an hour and a half long.
Yeah, I mean, they go right to like kidnapping and then the big reveal that, we're like a villainous family.
Yeah.
Welcome to the new reality.
It's like a 20-minute fairy fight. It's like a whole army. They're invading. Seems like overkill. Especially when they can't enter the house unless they're invited. Wouldn't you have a better chance of being invited in if there's only a few of you? I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the plot from True Blood, that vampires couldn't come in the house unless they were invited. This movie is really a weird mishmash of a lot of genres. I wasn't feeling like it was working. Of course, I couldn't really even understand it or follow it, and it's a kid's movie, so yes, I am a bit ashamed of that.
It's really... It's not well executed, and I don't think it does make much sense at all. It's kind of just thrown together.
Yeah, and they're just rushing through the elements. So we're always playing catch up, and then you realize they didn't really care about that, so why am I fixated on making sense of this? Yeah. And sure, he's got a lantern and he can unhinge his jaw and swallow it into his belly so it glows. He's just got storage capacity.
But why? Because his hands are empty. He could just be holding it.
He could just be holding it. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to feel bested by a kid's movie, but we were. I'm excited to find out if our little nephew's like this.
Yeah,
What's your feeling?
I don't think they're going to.
Okay.
I am going to be interested in that as well, because this is something that I think should be right up their alley. It's got a kid hero who's apparently super cool, although that's one of the problems with this movie. I think this kid doesn't strike me as a cool kid that you're going to want to be like.
No, none of the kids were super compelling.
No.
The lead fairy is a kid.
Yeah.
The other butler is a kid, but they weren't really... They weren't
charismatic.
The gang from Harry Potter or anything.
Yeah. And then there's all sorts of fantastical creatures, fairies and trolls and dwarves and goblins, and they like those things. And they look pretty good. That's one thing I'll say for this movie. The effects are good. This is a big budget movie in your home. But yeah, besides that, the window dressing, I don't think there's much here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they tried to cram too much of the book in and also not enough of the book in. And I mean, it does feel like it's setting up for a series.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
As many of these movies do. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to see any more of this.
I don't either. I can't imagine that this is going to get a sequel.
No. But I want to know from people who have read the book, did that help you figure this out, or were you just insulted at all the stuff they left out? Because sometimes having read the book helps you, like because you bring your own stuff in, then
even if
you're not playing catch-up as much.
If they haven't explained it, you already know what it is.
Yes. So, I really couldn't tell who was on whose side. And I mean, obviously allegiances were switched.
Yeah,
I take it.
Absolutely they did.
I feel like there was a lot of flip-flopping.
There was flip-flopping.
Or, making alliances or...
Yeah, there was both.
I mean... And then in the end, like, the news showed up and they were like, oh, people are so shocked. And I was like, this is still in the world?
Yeah, it's still in the world.
And I think that they were not shocked about the fairies and the trolls and such. They were just shocked about...
No, because that's another Men in Black device, is the fairies can erase your memory.
Yeah.
Just
or I'll just, like, stop time.
Or stop time, yeah.
Yeah. So they were just shocked about the theft.
I think so.
But also, no one was arresting him.
No, they didn't bother to breach the gates, and the cops weren't there.
That's right. Just the media.
Just the media.
So, I bet you it was the trolls who called them.
That would be them.
Well, yeah, we did not get off on this one, Disney. I'm sorry.
No.
We were there for it.
Yeah, I was up for liking this movie, but just didn't happen.
Didn't happen. So yes, we will be following up with the nieces and nephews.
Yeah, get their opinion.
Get their precious little opinions, because oh boy, they have them.
Yes, they do.
They are more difficult to parse than this movie.
But they're there.
But they are there, and they are often loud, emphatic, contradictory, sure. But they're there. So yes, we will be asking them, and we are asking all of you, did you see it? Did you understand it? Did you like it? Have you read the book? Does that help? Should we just forget the movie and read the books? Probably.
That's generally a safe bet, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyways, it is free if you have a Disney Plus subscription, so definitely give it a try if you're even the least bit interested. You can turn it off. You don't have to stay and invest. And certainly it's something new for the kids.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's a big deal. That's a big deal on its own.
Right.
Doesn't even matter how good it is.
You can only watch Shazam so many times.
No, you can watch that forever.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.